Launch of Ionosfera-M satellites, exploring Earth's ionosphere. Imagine a world where space weather forecasting is as precise as predicting the morning sunrise. This may soon become a reality, thanks to the latest launch from Russia's Vostochny Cosmodrome. On July 25th, a Soyuz 2.1B rocket blasted off into the sky, carrying two Ionosfera-M satellites into a sun-synchronous orbit. But here's where it gets fascinating. These satellites are part of a 4-satellite constellation designed to study the geophysical environment around Earth, including space weather and its effect on our planet. The Ionosfera-M number 3 and number 4 satellites are now flying to a circular orbit around 800 kilometers altitude on a Fregat-M upper stage, joining their predecessors, Ionosfera-M number 1 and number 2, which were launched in November 2024. The Soyuz rocket also carried 18 secondary payloads, including 17 Russian satellites and 1 from the Iranian Space Agency, highlighting the growing interest in space exploration and cooperation. But what's really exciting about this mission is the potential for breakthroughs in our understanding of the ionosphere, a region of the atmosphere that's crucial for radio and navigation signals. The Ionosphere satellites are equipped with 9 instruments, including spectrometers, a short-wave sounder, a magnetometer, and a radio wave sounder, which will collect measurements of Earth's ionosphere at different times of the day. And this is the part most people miss. The ionosphere is a complex and dynamic region, extending from roughly 80 kilometers to 650 kilometers in altitude, where high-energy solar radiation strips electrons from atoms and molecules, creating electrically charged ions. The Ionosphere-M constellation is the latest effort by space agencies to study this phenomenon, which was first discovered in 1902 by Guglielmo Marconi. While the Soviet Union flew missions to study the ionosphere in the past, Ionosphere-M marks a significant milestone in Russia's efforts to explore space weather. But here's the controversy. Some experts argue that the funding for this project was compromised due to budget cuts, which raises questions about the priorities of space agencies. Should we be allocating more resources to studying space weather? Or are there other pressing issues that need attention? The Ionosphere-M mission is a reminder that space exploration is not just about pushing the boundaries of human knowledge, but also about understanding the complex interactions between our planet and the surrounding space environment. As we continue to explore the vast expanse of space, we must also consider the potential implications of our actions on the delicate balance of our ecosystem. So what do you think? Should space agencies prioritize studying space weather? Or are there other areas that deserve more attention? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Russia launches Iran's Nahid-2 satellite, boosting ties amid nuclear talks. Russia has successfully sent a new Iranian communications satellite into orbit using one of its Soyuz rockets. This event marks yet another indication of the strengthening strategic partnership between Russia and Iran, which raises alarms among Western allies led by the United States. The Soyuz rocket took off from the Vostochny launch site located in the far eastern region of Russia. It was carrying not only Iran's Nahid-2 satellite, but also 2 Russian Ionosphere-M Earth observation satellites and 17 smaller satellites for Russia. Newsweek has reached out to the foreign ministries of both Iran and Russia for their comments on this significant launch. Why this launch is significant. This satellite launch highlights the growing technological collaboration between Russia and Iran, especially in light of increasing pressure from Western nations on both countries. It also demonstrates Tehran's advancements in satellite technology, despite ongoing concerns in the West that improvements in its civilian space program could potentially bolster its ballistic missile capabilities. Interestingly, the timing of this launch is noteworthy. It occurred just hours before European nations were set to meet with Iranian officials to restart nuclear negotiations. This could be interpreted as a strategic display of strength from Iran, particularly following a recent 12-day conflict that was ignited by Israeli attacks on Iranian targets. Key details about the Nahid-2 satellite. The Nahid-2 satellite represents the latest development in Iran's ongoing space initiatives. According to Iran's state broadcaster, this satellite is a communications device that has been entirely designed and manufactured within the country. Launched aboard a Russian Soyuz rocket from the Vostochny Cosmodrome, the Nahid-2 weighs 110 kilograms, approximately 242 pounds, and is intended to orbit the Earth at an altitude of 500 kilometers, about 310 miles, for a duration of 2 years. Western concerns. For years, Western governments had expressed serious concerns regarding Iran's space program, fearing that the technological advancements achieved could be redirected towards developing ballistic missiles. The dual-use nature of satellite launch vehicles has been a particular point of contention among officials in Washington and Europe. Earlier this week, Iran also conducted a test at its own Qased satellite launch rocket, marking a new chapter in its space endeavors. This state media characterized this launch as an initiative to evaluate emerging new technologies and enhance the performance of future satellite systems. Resumption of nuclear talks. The announcement of today's launch coincides with the resumption of nuclear discussions in Istanbul involving Iran and the E3, Britain, France, and Germany. This is the first round of talks since Israeli strikes on Iranian facilities in mid-June escalated into a brief regional conflict, during which the U.S. supported Israel by targeting Iranian nuclear infrastructure. Perspectives on the situation. Sina Azodi, an assistant professor at the Elliott School of International Affairs, remarked, "Not only is Iran enhancing its capabilities, but it is also sending a loud political message." What lies ahead? As nuclear negotiations continue and space activities ramp up, it is likely that Western powers will scrutinize Iran's aerospace development even more closely, especially those involving collaboration with Russia. This article includes contributions from the Associated Press. Russia launches satellite for Iran amid space weather monitoring. Breaking news. In a stunning display of international collaboration, Russia has successfully launched a satellite for Iran into orbit alongside 2 of their own space weather probes. But here's where it gets controversial. This launch could spark differing opinions on the political implications of such cooperation between these 2 nations. The Soyuz 2.1B rocket lifted off from Vostochny Cosmodrome in Siberia, carrying Russia's Ionosfera-M 3 and 4 satellites, as well as Iran's Nahid-2 communication satellite and 18 other secondary payloads. The early stages of the launch went smoothly, with the Russian space agency Roscosmos providing a live stream of the event. The Ionosfera-M satellites will monitor space weather phenomena, such as the impact of solar wind on near-Earth space, which can affect civilian and military systems. These satellites focus on the ionosphere, a layer of Earth's atmosphere that interacts strongly with the sun. The launch also included 17 Russian-built CubeSats, which will conduct remote sensing and other work in orbit. And this is the part most people miss: the potential for these satellites to gather valuable data that could benefit both Russia and Iran in their space exploration efforts. What do you think about this launch and its implications? Let us know in the comments below.